What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Darren, the Bow Tie Fragrance Guy. And of course, I love looking good and smelling amazing. So if you love to look good and smell great as well, then you've come to the right channel. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And while you're at it, go ahead and click on the bell icon as well. That way you get notified every time I release a new video. I believe here on my channel that looking good and smelling great kind of go hand in hand. I believe that a fragrance is the perfect exclamation point to a well-dressed gentleman. So that's the kind of stuff that you're going to hear about on this channel. Some great fragrances out there that you can wear. And also I'll give you some style tips to kind of make sure that you stay up on your game as it relates to your presentation. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about the longest lasting fragrances that I have in my collection, in my designer collection. I'll be doing a niche version of this video as well. And these are with no respect to seasons or anything like that. This is just, in my experience so far, the best performing fragrances that I have in my collection that will fall under the designer category. So if you want to hear what those 10 fragrances are, you know the routine, keep it locked right here. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the list. Now, what you're going to notice about most of these fragrances are this. Most of the fragrances that give great performance, oftentimes they're going to be at least an EDP or an eau de parfum concentration. You guys, I know some guys that may watch this channel may not be as knowledgeable as it relates to fragrances and fragrance terminology and things of that nature. So just so you know, fragrances start with, I think, a cologne concentration. Then you have eau de cologne. Then you have EDT, which is eau de toilette. You have EDP, which is eau de parfum. And then you have parfum. And then you have extrait de parfum. And so what that means is with each level, when you get to the EDP concentration, it has a higher oil base in the fragrance. Usually, the higher the oil concentration in the fragrance, the longer the fragrance is going to stick around. So that's what I'm referring to. Again, most of these fragrances are at least an EDP concentration or better, most of them. So we're gonna go ahead and start the list off with a fragrance from the house of Versace, and this is Versace EROS. Versace EROS, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this is the only fragrance on this list that is an EDT concentration though. But the way it's composed, this fragrance just jumps off my skin and it lasts a long time. It took me a little bit longer to get used to this fragrance than some of the others because this is really, really sweet. It has mint and green apple and some other stuff going on here. But man, this stuff really, really, really performs well on my skin. All the fragrances on this list give me at least that 8 hours of performance. And of course, that's why this one made the list. It's the only fragrance on here that is an EDT concentration, but that doesn't change the fact that on my skin, this one really, really performs well. So the first fragrance on the list is from the house of Versace, and this is EROS. The next fragrance on the list, guys, is from the house of PACCO RABBANE, and this is 1 Million PRIVE. This is another fragrance that I get great performance out of. If you look at 1 Million Lucky, the original 1 Million, those fragrances are an EDT concentration. This is an EDP. And I really get great performance out of it. And I don't mind smelling like this for 8+ hours because this smells like a freshly baked apple pie. I've said that before. I love the way this stuff smells, guys. I love when the fall season rolls around because I really, this is one of the ones that I really, really enjoy putting on. And like I said, it's just a bonus that it really performs well. So the next fragrance on the list, again, is from the house of PACCO RABBANE, and this is 1 Million PRIVE. The next fragrance on the list, guys, comes from the house of Valentino, and this is Valentino UOMO Intense. Man, this stuff is good, guys. It reminds me a lot of DIOR Homme Intense, but this one has more of that kind of hazelnut coffee type of vibe that you get from it, and I really, really enjoy this stuff. Nuclear performance on my skin. Again, most of the fragrances on this list, I think, yeah, pretty much are fragrances that are more suitable for cooler temperatures. And again, oftentimes that's kind of the par for the course. Fragrances with darker, heavier notes in them usually are going to perform better and be catered for more cooler temperatures. So it is what it is, and that's what most of the fragrances on this list are. But again, I'm giving you a true list. From the house of Valentino, this is Valentino UOMO Intense. Next up, guys, this is one of the fragrances on the list that really offers some versatility, so you can wear this one year round. And this is Christian Dior's Dior Sauvage. This is the Parfum concentration. The EDP performed really, really well, but I get even better performance from this one, the Parfum collection. When I first reviewed this, I said that it kind of reminds me of BLEU Chanel Parfum and Dior Sauvage, the EDP version, kind of mixed into the same bottle. But in this video is about performance, and it performed really, really well on my skin. You know what this one is. You've heard about this one countless times, but this is again a true list. I get great performance out of this one, Dior Sauvage Parfum. All right, guys, next up from the house of MAISON Margiela, that replica lineup. I love most of the fragrances that I put my nose on from that collection, and this one performed really, really well. This one is Jazz Club. Jazz Club. If you love fragrances with a boozy kind of tobacco vibe, you're gonna love this one. And man, I love this stuff. Oh my God, you get like a honey type of vibe from it as well. It's kind of like honey caramel type of sweetness I get on the top, but it mixes really, really well with the boozy and rum and tobacco type of accord as well. I love this stuff, man. It says on here, the fragrance description is heady cocktails and cigars. I can kind of see that. And again, it just performed really, really well. I get great performance out of By the Fireplace as well. Actually, I get a little bit better performance on my skin with Jazz Club, and that's why I made the list. From the house of MAISON Margiela, this is Jazz Club. Next up on the list, guys, this is another intense fragrance from the house of Prada. This is Prada L'Homme Intense. Prada L'Homme Intense. Now, I will say I do get good performance out of Prada L'Homme as well. And again, it's a nice Irish type fragrance that's good to wear in the warmer temperatures. It really, really works well in the spring, but I think you could get away with wearing that one year round as well. But when it gets cold outside, I go from that one to this one. Because this thing, I'm telling you, this might be, honestly, this might be the best performer on this list if I'm not mistaken. This thing on my skin goes all day long. Literally, I can pick it up all day long, and it projects for a long time as well. But this is a good one right here, guys. If you've never tried this one, if you've tried the original L'Homme, and you haven't tried the Intense yet, put your nose on this one, because this one is a performance monster. Again, this is from the house of Prada, and this is Prada L'Homme Intense. All right, guys, and next up on the list, we're going back to the house of Prada, but from a different lineup. This one is Prada Luna Rossa Black. And man, this stuff right here, guys, is really, really good. I love this one. Oh man, this is so good right here, man. It has amber in it. That's the main star player to me. It's sweet, but it has a nice, warm, ambery vibe that you get throughout the life of it. And man, this stuff is just good. This is an EDP concentration, and I really get great performance out of this fragrance on my skin. I was really, really impressed with that when they came out with this one. I was pretty much a fan of the other releases for the most part from the Luna Rossa line, but this is the best one to me. I like Carbon and a few others, but I really, really enjoyed this one. This is the star player right here. And again, especially when we start talking about performance, this one is the best performer out of those fragrances, but just a very, really nice, mass appealing fragrance with great performance from the house of Prada. This is Prada Luna Rossa Black. And next up on the list, this one comes from the house of Tom Ford, and this is Tom Ford's Ombre Leather. Ombre Leather. Man, I really enjoyed this one. It took me a little while to pick it up because I had Tuscan leather, and to me, they were very, very similar, of course, and I still feel that way, but man, this one is a little bit sweeter than Tuscan leather. So with Tuscan leather, you get more of the leather. This one, you get a little bit more of the more sweeter elements. Again, they're very similar, but this one is sweeter, and I really, really like it. And best of all, guess what? It gives great performance. So this is one that I'm looking forward again to the fall and winter coming around, so I can really get some more wear out of this one, because I love the way it smells and I love the performance from the house of Tom Ford. This is ombre leather. Next up on the list, guys, of course, if Dior Sauvage Parfum made the list, this had to make it as well from the house of Chanel. This is Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Bleu de Chanel Parfum, I do get great performance out of it. Now this one doesn't project for a long time, but it really sits closer to the skin, and that's fine. I like that. I do get 8 hours of performance out of Bleu de Chanel Parfum. And like I said, when I reviewed the fragrance, they took the more citrus notes and toned them down, and they amped up the woody notes in this, and I really enjoy it. This is a more masculine presentation of that particular fragrance. I think this is more for, you know, if you're 30 or younger, I would go with the EDT or the EDP, but if you are over 30, man, I like the Parfum. Again, it's a little bit more of a sophisticated take on the Bleu de Chanel DNA, and I love this stuff. And again, it gives great performance. So that's why I made the list from the house of Chanel. This is Bleu de Chanel Parfum. And last but not least, guys, I get great performance out of this Iris-based fragrance from the house of Christian Dior. This is Dior Homme Intense. Dior Homme Intense. This is the originator of the Iris. You know, I talked about PRADA L'Homme Intense. I talked about Valentino UOMO Intense, which honestly, those fragrances kind of put you in the same mindset of this one as well, but this was the first one to do it, and I love the way this one does it. Like I said, if you like Iris, if you like the original Dior Homme, and like a little bit more, better performance, a little bit more of that kind of, you know, kind of incensey type vibe that you get from Dior Homme Intense combined with the Iris, then you're gonna love this one, because this stuff gives great performance. Again, another fragrance that when it starts to get really cold outside, I really look forward to wearing this stuff. From the house of Christian Dior, this is Dior Homme Intense. All right, guys, that's it. That's my time. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, as I gave you 10 of the best performing, longest lasting fragrances I have in my designer collection. I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching, because you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're right here with me, and I sincerely appreciate that. And don't forget to take the time to like, comment, and subscribe, and share these videos out to other folks that you think could use this information or find me entertaining, because I'm your main man, Darian, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.